Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video which is a tour of my 100 heads. So if you watched my last video, I was doing like my last spread and talking about how it's helped me to like feel more comfortable in my art again. So if you want to check that out, I think I can put it up above. If not, it'll be linked in the caption. But yes, we're going to do a tour of the 100 heads. If you're enjoying my channel, I would love it if you would like, comment and subscribe, you know, all that jazz, you know the drill. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. This is the tour of the 100 heads. The whole process of me doing my 100 heads kind of began with the creative goals I set myself to just like have less expectation for myself, to just have fun with it, to make art a hobby again rather than something that had to be perfect. But this was just a page I just threw watercolor all over it basically, just to see what would happen. And yeah, I'm quite pleased. I need to go over these because you can't really read them, but it says give myself grace in my neurodivergence and that my creative practice won't be consistent, and that's okay. Only loose, playful expectations, to draw messily and for fun, and to do art challenges. And so the art challenge goal was like came to fruition through my 100 heads. So this was the first page of my 100 heads. It starts off okay. These two I really like, and then it gets a bit shaky as soon as they start throwing in strange angles. I used the original 100 heads Pinterest board. I really like the messy style of this one. But yeah, so there's some good and bad on this page. And then the next one, again, the angles I was struggling with. This angle, this one I really like. I was really pleased with how I managed to convey this angle, because like looking down on a tilted face I normally struggle with, so that was, I'm really pleased with that one. I think that is my favourite one on this page. I like this one. I like the stylized vibes of the hair. I think that's cool. But yeah, so this was the last day I did in pencil. I did 2 days in each medium. I like the shading on this, but like equally, I was struggling. Your girl was struggling with proportions. And also with me trying to do it in like a fun way without any pressure. Like I'd kind of just sketch it and not rub it out too many times, because it was more important for me to get the faces on the page rather than them be really good. So yeah, and then we begin with pen. Yeah, so the first one was questionable. I forgot to leave space for a forehead. I made the lips way bigger than they needed to be. It was a learning experience. It was a learning experience. I slowly got better. I thought more about where I was going to put the facial features. Like this one, I kind of like the style. It's messy, but I like it. I like this one quite a lot. I like this one quite a lot. This one, I kind of like the illustration style of this, but like it's also misproportionate. But I do like the style this is drawn in. This one, she had like big artistic painted eyebrows, but then I kind of conveyed that, but then didn't quite get the face shape or the hair at all correct, and her eyes are too close together, and it just went really wrong. I like this one. But yeah, so it's like a mixed bag, with pen being the first time I used my Pentel brush pen. I have it here. It's this one. Hang on. It's this one. It's just red. The bristles are... It basically is like a paintbrush, but it's a pen. I adore it. It's lovely. I then did another page. This one I put on my Instagram because I really loved how I filled the negative space, and I love some of the textures I managed to make on this page. I like this one. I really like the way I drew this person's hair. But yeah, like I kind of, this head isn't really a head, it's kind of half a face, but you know, I counted it. But, like there are still some mistakes, like the way these eyes are drawn, but like with the proportions, apart from this, I don't know what's going on here, but the proportions generally are starting to get better, which is like, it was promising to see. I really like this. I love the line work on this. I like this a lot. I like how with using different amounts of layers and different amounts of ink on the brush, you can create like bleed and texture with just the ink layers. Experimenting with like a drier brush versus a more wet brush, and yeah,
But I like this page as a whole. I think it looks cool. It's kind of, I don't know, I like the style, I like how it looks all together. I think it's pretty cool. I then moved on to a brush pen from Wilko. It was just this one, just Crawford and Black. Brush pen, nothing special. It was probably like a few pounds for the set, and I can't lie, I think it's already running out. But I enjoyed it. I really like this. I really like this. I like this guy quite a lot. Like the proportions on this are all wrong, and the face shape I did. This one was supposed to be like super exaggerated, and I ended up making it look kind of normal. Like for some reason switching to a different type of pen caused me to struggle again, which kind of became easier like the more I practiced with it. But like because it wasn't brushes, it was like a felt tip compared to the last pen I was using, I struggled more. Also, I think on this day I was kind of bored, so I just rushed it. But yeah, the important thing is I got the heads down, I got them drawn, I got proportion practice, and I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. It was a statue. I really like how I've drawn the eye bags and the wrinkles, and I don't know, I think it's cool. Then did another page with this pen. It's better, apart from this. We're not gonna look at that. But like, as a general, and like her forehead is way too big, but like it kind of gives me Wednesday Addams vibes. And like, I like this guy. And these two are alright. And this one, proportionally, is okay. Like it could be better, but it's not too bad. Like I can see the progress. Like not everything's gonna be perfect, but I'm having like 7 heads a page that I like rather than 4. Do you know what I mean? Like 7 out of 10. So I was feeling encouraged. I love this page. I then moved on to my fountain pen, and it's just like a Lamy fountain pen. It's black ink, and I loved this. I loved the lines, like the thinner lines, and the way I could get, like I was still doing them quickly to like get them out and done in like about half an hour, 40 minutes. But it was the different illustratory textures I could make, like the thinner lines I could use. This guy, I have a book, it's The Art of Elemental, the Disney film, and I feel like the illustration style in that, this is kind of similar, and I really like that. Like I like the sketchy preliminary sketches of characters and designs, and this pen was really fun to practice doing things like that. Like this looks like, in my head, this looks like Mr. Gum or like Mr. Stink, but not Mr. Stink, because Mr. Stink's an angel. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's more personality in these ones. Like in this guy, you can get more emotion and more personality. Like I feel like I'm conveying more emotion with this pen. And then similarly on this page, I don't think there's a single one on here which I really hate, which is good. So 10 out of 10 Erica. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. I think the style of this one's cool, but the detail and the shapes that I was able to create with that pen and being able to do the thinner, more scratchy lines, like I feel like a fountain pen's more forgiving compared to like a brush pen. So I enjoyed that. And like slowly over the challenge, I found myself far more enjoying drawing people with lots of facial hair and like more like fantasy ogre type creatures, or like people with exaggerated facial expressions and lots of wrinkles and texture on their skin and eye bags. And I found that, I think the imperfection of it, like, because like you don't have to have everything perfectly placed for an ogre to look normal, so it lends itself to my messy style. I feel more confident drawing them because there's less perfectionism needed. Also, I feel like on here there's not really like lines, it needs to be like soft shading, right? And with this guy, you can add harsh lines to fill the negative space. Whereas I really struggle with portraits like this and like this to know what to fill the negative space with, if that makes sense. I then moved on to coloured pencil. This does not look anything like the original image. However, I do really like the softness with which I've used the pencils in this one. I love the textures I've made. I love the drawing. I love this one a lot. This one again, I struggled with. This one I struggled with because the eyes were proportionally a lot bigger than like they would be in real life, so For some reason I found that difficult. I like this guy. Again, it's the wrinkles and like the baggy eyes. I don't know, I love it. I love drawing stuff like that. This guy had potential, and then I completely ruined the proportions and I did too much like pencil work. But like something like this has potential, and like I like this one, but not as much as like the previous like troll. Like this guy I much prefer to this guy, but equally like I like him. There's none on here that I absolutely hate, apart from maybe this one, but even that, like, it kind of gives it character. And this was my last spread. I completely, this is the one where I did the speed draw. If you haven't watched that video, I will put it in the description or like tag it on the screen. I can't remember if I know how to do that, but proportionally this one went horribly. This was a funny angle when I rushed it, but you know, it could be worse. It could be worse. I love this one. I love how I've done the shading on the face and left the hair negative space. I feel like it adds character and brings all the focus onto her expression, which I really like. This one I was really loving until I did the proportions. Somehow like so wrong, like I don't know how I managed that. So like the top half, what a slay. Like the nose needs to be further down. The eyes, amazing, but then something went really wrong proportionally. I don't know what happened. I like this guy a lot. I like this one a lot actually. I managed to get the proportions of like the second eye, because normally like when it's a side profile and the second eye isn't quite visible, I struggle with figuring out what it looks like in this face. So I did this one quite well, I think. Like the face shape isn't quite there, but proportionally, if you like cut out, I don't know, like the features are okay. The features are okay. Yeah. That is my 100 heads. I hope you enjoyed that little tour. Thank you so much for watching. I kind of did more of a debrief on the 100 heads on my studio vlog, which you can go and watch if you haven't already. It gives more context to the 100 heads and why I did it. It was just like a sketchy 100 heads. It wasn't a serious one, because some people do them and they do properly rendered portraits, which I love. I knew I wouldn't be able to manage that and actually stick to it and finish it, and it was more just about getting the proportions right and getting it down on the page. So that's why mine's a little bit more sketchy. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. There will be a sketchbook tour soon, because she's nearly full. She's getting there. And yeah, so thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next week.